North Korea strictly forbids any type of picture or video from being leaked to the outside world. Believe it or not, the laws are so strict that if someone is found trying to watch or listen to anything outside of the country, the punishment could even be death. So, when any sort of footage is leaked from the totalitarian state, it's almost always a controversy since living in North Korea is anything but pleasant. Join me, as in today's video, I'm going to count down 20 of the most forbidden and horrifying videos leaked from North Korea. Number 1. Sentenced for watching K-dramas. In 2022, disturbing footage of two 16-year-old boys being handcuffed in front of an entire stadium of students was leaked from North Korea. It said that two young boys were actually arrested for violating state law by secretly watching South Korean dramas. And while watching K-dramas is actually punishable by death, they were lucky enough to avoid that, but still received 12 brutal, long years of hard labor. This video just goes to show how miserable life is in Kim Jong-un's North Korea. It appeared as if an example was being set for all the other teenagers as they watched the two boys get shamed, with both their addresses and names being revealed to the public. But what is Kim Jong-un's deal with South Korean dramas? Well, if people living in North Korea actually start realizing just how oppressed they are, it could actually weaken his grip and lead to a serious revolution. One defector even shared his story of how he was forced to watch a 22-year-old man be shot dead for listening to South Korean music. Number 2. Kim Jong-il's snowy funeral. While North Korean leaders continue to execute their people for the most absurd things, their own funerals are something out of this world. I mean, it's just shocking to see how grand they are, considering how more than half of the country struggles to put food on the table. Entire cities are warded off as a funeral cortege passes through streets with tens of thousands of civilians bawling their eyes out. But are they actually crying because they're sad? Or is it because they want to live? Well, when this eerie video of Kim Jong-il's snowy funeral made waves across the internet, a lot of people were freaked out by how North Koreans were mourning the passing of their leader. It was almost as if they were being forced to do so, and after some research, I actually found that Kim Jong-un, the successor at the time, made it compulsory for everyone to cry and mourn his father's passing. Even years later, if anyone is caught smiling on that particular day, they are sent to jail and in some cases even sentenced to death. Number 3. A dash for freedom. In 2017, Oh Chong-song, the son of a North Korean general, made his great escape from the oppressed state after crashing a military jeep into the DMZ. Oh can be seen in the video speeding the jeep towards the South Korean border as his own comrades chase him down on foot in an attempt to stop his escape. But after his jeep gets stuck in a ditch, he's forced to run towards the border on foot, with North Korean soldiers firing at least 40 rounds, with 5 of them hitting Oh Chong. It's absolutely incredible how he managed to escape despite being shot 5 times. And believe it or not, during an interview, Oh actually said he doesn't blame his unit at all since he would have done the same exact thing. If he had been caught, chances are he probably would have been sentenced to life with hard labor, or in the worst-case scenario, shot by a firing squad. Oh Chong was actually unconscious when South Korean soldiers dragged him to cover, and afterward, when the doctors were done stitching him up, they claimed to have found 11-inch parasitic worms inside him because of North Korea's poor food standards and hygiene. No wonder he wanted to get out of there. Number 4. Malnourished kids in North Korea. North Korea has been facing a major food crisis for years now, and while its leaders are busy testing bigger missiles and nukes, more than 10 million people don't have access to enough food for normal growth and development. In 2020 alone, North Korea was short on nearly 1 million tons of grain, leading to serious malnutrition among children and young teenagers. The United Nations estimates that the number of malnourished kids in North Korea has risen by a terrifying 50% in the last couple of years. The food situation is absolutely horrifying under Kim Jong-un's terrible rule, and this video is extremely difficult to watch as more kids fall victim to life-threatening diseases. because they don't have access to safe food or water. Plus, despite North Korea's official press release showing a clean and developed capital, you can see how most of this footage reveals damaged buildings and poor living standards as well. Number 5. Hired for looks. Videos and images of the traffic ladies of Pyongyang have always been a huge mystery for the rest of the world. I mean, if you look at the footage, you can see how there are literally traffic lights at every single intersection. So, why do you even need them? And it's because of that, and a dozen other reasons, that a lot of people think the traffic ladies of Pyongyang are actually fake. It's claimed that the video was leaked on purpose to show how North Korea is all for women's empowerment, while in reality, they aren't even allowed to drive. So let me say that again, but slowly. They're allowed to direct traffic but can't even drive. North Korea is really something else. But either way, it's obvious these ladies are hired for looks, since they've managed to create a cult following with fans from all over the world. There are multiple groups and even websites all over the internet with fans admiring the traffic ladies and even writing poetry about them. Oh, and it's not like they aren't a hit in North Korea either, since there are actually toys of them available at stores. Number 6. American hostage Otto Warmbier. Otto Warmbier, a student at the University of Virginia, was arrested in North Korea back in 2016 while visiting the barbaric state with a budget-friendly tour group from China. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned, as he was caught taking down a propaganda poster on video during his stay in Korea. You can see how he's being dragged around by North Korean authorities as they throw him in front of their media and judges, forcing him to acknowledge how he made a grave mistake when in reality, all he did was take down a poster in his hotel. The young student can be seen in the video crying and pleading, asking the judges to forgive him for his mistake, allowing him to go back home to his family. Believe it or not, the state showed him no mercy and lived up to its dictatorial image by sentencing an unbelievable 15 years in jail with hard labor. Negotiations for his release did start shortly after, and while Otto was allowed to go back home after vanishing in the prison system for 17 long months, he never lived to tell his side of the story. When he finally came back home, he remained unconscious because of some serious brain injury before passing away in 2017. American intelligence authorities claim he was mentally tortured by the North Koreans, leading to brain damage and ultimately... Number 7. Child labor at ski resorts. North Korea is without a doubt the control capital of the world, and not even the children are safe from their brutal dictators. And while child labor has always been a massive problem in the country, it's a different story when leaders themselves force children to work. Considering how only 0.02% of North Korean ski-building resorts all over the country doesn't really make a lot of sense. But one minister thinks that the golden days of skiing are not far away, and to speed up the process, he's gotten thousands of children working in construction to build ski resorts. It's a major human rights violation, as children can be seen in the video having to work alongside prisoners, lifting large trunks of wood in the blistering cold. Plus, when you think about how a huge portion of children in North Korea already don't get enough food for safe development, this can't be a good idea. Number 8. An actual public execution. This could just be the most horrifying video leaked from North Korea, said to be taken in the North Hamgyong province back in 2005. It's the first footage of an actual public execution, and just watching it sends shivers down my spine. There are actually 2 prisoners in the video, and while the first one is sentenced to 10 years of hard labor, the second must face execution by firing squad. An execution post is put up, and while the video is too blurry, my guess is the prisoner is tied to the post as a squad of 3 riflemen gets in position right in front of him. They aim their rifles, and as soon as they are directed to fire, the prisoner can be seen either falling or going completely limp after being shot at. Despite the lack of evidence, public executions aren't something new in Kim Jong-un's ruthless paradise. There are even rumors of how he had his own uncle executed in a similar fashion after he was found trying to overthrow him. Number 9. Young homeless woman. In June 2010, a person managed to record a young 23-year-old homeless woman in the South Pyongyang province. From the looks of it, she probably hadn't had a proper meal for months, as she was very weak, with her entire body covered in dirt. When asked, she revealed that she had to pick grass to get by as she was homeless with no family left. A lot of people claim this is the true face of North Korea, as only the capital is developed with some basic infrastructure. Apart from that, the entire country is in shambles, with most provinces not even having basic necessities. Oh, and because North Korea has this law that punishes an entire family, even if only one member commits a crime. A lot of homeless people claim they have no family because stealing food is often the only option. What's tragic about this video is that she was found a couple of days later in a cornfield. And when you think about it, this is just a video of one person. I can't even imagine what North Koreans have to go through on a daily basis. Number 10. An all-out brawl with security. When Trump visited Korea and set history as the first American president to step foot inside the Hermit Kingdom, the White House press secretary Stephanie Grisham also made history as she got into a scuffle with North Korean security. In this video, Stephanie can be seen waiting outside a conference room in which Kim Jong-un and Trump were talking privately. As soon as the meeting is done and the doors opened, the media rushes to the scene to get a picture of the two presidents. And as Stephanie is making her way to the action, a North Korean security official purposely gets in her way to block her. No one knows why he did that. It might have been an intimidation tactic or even just pure hatred, since North Korean leaders have done an excellent job at brainwashing their people. Number 11. The moving fortress. Like most presidents, Kim travels in a bulletproof vehicle equipped with armor strong enough to protect from even a bomb blast. But there's just one difference. Kim's vehicle isn't a car or a truck. It's actually a train, nicknamed the Moving Fortress. This 90-carriage train is both a luxurious ride and an absolute beast all at the same time. It's said to be bulletproof with bomb-proof floors, as well, keeping Kim Jong-un safe from all sorts of threats. The train has a variety of weapons on board, as well as an actual helicopter to protect him from whatever he thinks is out there to get him. From the inside, the train is a statement of luxury with leather seats, multiple flat screens, and a variety of different entertainment rooms as well. But why does Kim need to travel in a fortified train, even though he's the most powerful man in North Korea? Well, since he's pretty much killed some of the most elite leaders of the nation, including some of his family members as well. There are a lot of people just waiting for the perfect moment to put an end to his brutal rule. Number 12. Defecting Family. When you think about it, North Koreans wake up every day unaware of what's going on in the world around them. For all they know, the rest of the world just lives under complete control and scrutiny just like them. But those who realize there is more meaning to life outside of North Korea's borders put everything at stake to get out of the country. This video might not be horrifying, but I'm sure it's going to hit you right in the feels. A family of 4, including a girl who's just 2 years old, is attempting to flee North Korea by first going into China and then rushing into the Japanese consulate. They were told that once they were inside the Japanese consulate, they were safe and wouldn't be sent back to North Korea. Anyway, as the family gets closer to the gate of the consulate, they make a run for it, and unfortunately, only 2 of the men are able to make it across, both the woman and the young girl being stopped by the guards. It's extremely difficult to watch as the guards prevent the 2 from making it across. I mean, just think about it. They were that close to freedom. Fortunately, when this video became public, China faced a ton of scrutiny and ultimately had to let the family go. It's rumored that they live a peaceful life in Seoul today, but not everyone is as lucky as they are. Number 13. Kim Jong-un's child slaves. Like child labor, having child slaves in North Korea is another terrifying fact that just gives you a tiny idea of how miserable life is in that dictatorial state. And these children aren't exactly laborers, they are actual slaves. This video shows children as young as 9 years old carrying heavy rocks and mending railway tracks with hammers in the scorching sun. They are forced to do this for up to 10 hours a day, and if they ever refuse, no one's going to let them off just because they're kids. Most of these kids are clearly underfed, and what's sad about it is They should be going to school and playing around at this age, but their only fault is being born in North Korea. Number 14. Korean James Bond. Again, this video was probably leaked on purpose, and while the horrifying bit about the footage is how it's literal propaganda for their people, most of it is just Kim Jong-un in slow motion. It's something out of a Hollywood movie. You have the supreme leader in a black leather jacket and sunglasses walking in slow-mo in front of their newly developed missile. And when you think about it, almost every country in the world shows off its military might in the same exact way. But the horrifying fact about this video is that the footage is nothing but propaganda for their people. The North Korean government is responsible for brainwashing their own people by showing them this ridiculous footage, making them believe their army and missile program is the strongest in the world. Number 15. Woman threatened after trying to escape. This is another footage that just makes you feel very uncomfortable because it's just terrifying to see how poorly people are treated in North Korea. This is said to be a female prisoner who attempted to escape to China, but was unfortunately caught by the military. She can be seen in the video on her knees as two guards interrogate her. Believe it or not, at one point in the video, the guard even threatens to kill her if she doesn't tell the truth. No one knows who the woman is, whether she really tried to escape, and what happened to her after. But watching this video just makes me wonder if more than 40,000 people have defected to different countries since North Korea was founded, how many have been caught? And what has the government done to them? Number 16. Citizens being tortured by security personnel. This is another clip of two different interrogations, and in the first one, you can see how the guard suddenly gets up and strikes the prisoner right in the face with a nasty kick. He continues to abuse the person, grabbing them from their hair and throwing them around before pushing them on the ground. And in the second clip, you can see what appears to be a guard striking a prisoner right in the neck with his fist. What's interesting about the second clip is that if you look at the wall in the back, you can see a picture of Kim Jong-un's father and grandfather. This is a pretty common sight in North Korea since citizens are encouraged to put up images of the supreme leader in their houses. Not much is known about where these clips are from, but like all of the other disturbing leaked footage in this video, North Koreans aren't respected at all. Their leaders continue to live in luxury while their people are subjected to abuse, torture, and trauma. Number 17. A propaganda video about how Americans live. It's very rare you get to see an actual propaganda video issued about the North Korean government because, let me tell you, that stuff is very horrifying to watch. And again, it's not because of what they're showing, it's more about what they're forcing their people to believe. This next footage is a propaganda video of how Americans supposedly live, and most of the video is just homeless people out in the street. It gives off a dark, depressing vibe that's probably to confuse people about how the rest of the world also lives a similar lifestyle. But at the end of the day, it's nothing but a lie they tell North Koreans to keep them at bay and cut off from the rest of the world. And what's ironic about this video is that it kind of just shows how life is in most parts of their own country. Number 18. An eerie morning in Pyongyang. Please keep this in mind while watching the next clip. Only the most fortunate people get to live in the capital, Pyongyang. And in this video, you can just see how eerie a normal morning is in Pyongyang. The streets are mostly empty, and very few cars can be seen on the roads. And whenever you do spot people walking or doing something, I don't know why, but for some odd reason, it always feels it's scripted. The buildings as well. Just looking at them makes me wonder whether people even live inside them, because everything just seems so lifeless. And if life in the capital is like this, I can't even imagine what a morning must look like in some rural area of North Korea. Oh, and you'll see one of the famous traffic ladies of Pyongyang standing at an intersection with no traffic to direct. Watching this clip makes me think, will we ever get to connect with these people and see them live a better life? Number 19. Rural North Korea. This next video is the complete opposite of Pyongyang as we get a glimpse of how life is in rural North Korea. Even though it seems a lot more lively than the capital of the country, you can tell right off the bat that these people lack basic provisions. People can be seen living in damaged houses with aluminium roofs, and little heaps of garbage can be spotted here and there. Most people are either just walking or have cycles, since a car is a luxury only a few North Koreans can afford. Now here's why this footage has secured the #2 spot on the list. Believe it or not, this footage is from one of the richest cities of North Korea. Yes, what you're seeing right now is the life-privileged people live under the dictatorial regime. And while Pyongyang is definitely all fancy with big buildings and wide roads, it's just one side of the coin, as the city has been developed for elite leaders, including Kim Jong-un himself. #20, the Great Mourning of Kim Il-sung. If you thought the clip of Kim Jong-il's funeral was horrifying, wait till you see how the entire nation mourned for North Korea's founder, Kim Il-sung. People were actually beating themselves and crying miserably, with reporters covering the funeral also losing it. Even young school kids in uniforms can be seen bawling their eyes out at the sad demise of Kim Jong-il. But I'm going to point out something that's really going to make you think about this footage. When you look closely, it's only the people closest to the camera who are crying the most. Most North Koreans standing in the background appear to be quite normal, once again leading to the question, are they forced to cry by the government? It also makes you wonder how brainwashed they actually are, since the reporter in the video is actually talking about how it's sad that their great leader has died and they can't accompany him to the afterlife. So, what did you guys think of these horrifying videos leaked from North Korea? Did you know things were this bad in the most dangerous country on the planet? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting content in the future. Namin sir.